Do your hands or arms feel weird sometimes when you use them? I'm Deborah Quilter. I've written 2 books on repetitive strain injury, and I want to share with you some really subtle warning signs that you could have RSI and you need to take care of it right away. These signs are very subtle. They could be as simple as weakness in your hands or forearms. There could be a lot of fatigue when you use your hands. For instance, if you like to play a musical instrument, it might wear you out. Your hands just feel sort of exhausted. You could have numbness, tingling, or loss of sensation, a feeling that your hands fell asleep. You might need to shake them to wake them up again. A feeling of heaviness. It might feel very heavy for you to just hold your hands at a keyboard. You could have clumsiness. You pick something up, drop it, pick it back up, drop it again. You're always dropping things, breaking glasses, little things. Tremors. Your fingers are shaking for no reason. This can be terrifying, especially for musicians, because it might cause them to play a wrong note. They could lose their job. Stiffness. Your hands are just very stiff. You could have difficulty buttoning buttons or putting on jewelry or doing things that require small, fine adjustments of your hands. Frequent self-massage. Maybe you're constantly massaging your forearms or your thumb or one of your fingers or your neck because it hurts. Avoid using your bad hand. Maybe you hold the subway pole with your dominant hand and suddenly it just doesn't feel safe anymore, so you start using your non-dominant hand. Maybe it bothers you to press things, press elevator buttons or the keys on an ATM machine. Maybe you have difficulty twisting doorknobs or turning faucets on and off. Maybe you wake up in the middle of the night and your hands are numb or painful. Maybe you avoid shaking hands with other people because it would hurt. And if that's a problem, fist bumping could send electric shocks down your arms, so you don't want to do that either. Have you lost the ability to snap your fingers? Have you given up playing the guitar or the piano or some sport that you really liked, maybe tennis or pickleball? Do your fingertips get really sensitive? Do your forearms feel so sore they feel like they're on fire? Does it hurt you to raise your arm to reach for something or to reach out for something or to carry things? Do you have trouble turning your head from side to side or looking up or looking down? Or maybe you've got pain in your neck somewhere that just won't go away. Are your elbows killing you? Does it hurt to do normal things like washing your hair or brushing your teeth? Do you have burning, shooting, or electrical pain anywhere in your arm? I left pain for last because of all the symptoms I mentioned. This is the least subtle, and this is when you've transferred from a time where you could actually turn repetitive strain injury around to the point where it's become chronic and you're going to have to live with it. RSI creeps up on people. Typically, they have one episode and it goes away. And then a few weeks or a few months later, they'll have another episode and that will go away too. And then the episodes will come closer and closer together until finally the symptoms just stop going away. And by then, a lot of damage can be done. Because a lot of people don't take these symptoms seriously, and maybe they've never heard that these could be symptoms of a serious disease, they ignore them or they go to their massage therapist or their acupuncturist for relief, but it doesn't really address the cause of the problem. Sometimes people think they're just getting older, or they slept wrong, or they carried their child too much, or they attribute it to something like painting the garage or doing some heavy housework. A lot of times people have absolutely no idea that anything serious could go wrong with their hands. They take them for granted. The warning signs of RSI can be very subtle, but they can indicate serious problems. So if you have these warning signs, you should see your doctor and get a diagnosis. Symptoms of RSI can appear in your neck, your shoulder, your biceps, your elbow, your forearm, your wrist, your fingers, your thumb, even the palm of your hand. So don't assume that if you don't have wrist problems, like you hear people have wrist problems when they have carpal tunnel syndrome, don't assume that you don't have a problem because that's not where you have your symptoms. And your symptoms could migrate from one place to another because now you're using your hands differently and you can get compensatory or substitution injuries. If you have developed RSI, your problems will be compounded because it will be very hard to work. Most jobs require some normal hand use of the computer, lifting things, doing some sort of repetitive movement with your hands, and having the strength to do that pain-free for the number of hours in a day that you're expected to work. So while it's really important to see a competent physician who can diagnose you, that can be very difficult to find. A lot of people tell me their doctor dismissed their symptoms or their doctor didn't seem to know very much about repetitive strain injury. There's an excellent episode on what constitutes a good diagnosis of repetitive strain injury. It's very thorough. I will leave the link to that episode below so that you will be able to evaluate whether you think you are getting good care. I know it's hard to find a good doctor. That's the most common question I get. But in the meantime, you can be your own best friend by avoiding any activity that flares your symptoms. And unfortunately, that could mean taking time off work. You have to ask yourself, what's more important, your job or your hands? A job can come and go, but you need your hands for everything you do for the rest of your life. And remember, you can't use your other pair of hands to do the things you love to do. So take care of the hands that you have. I will see you next time for another informative episode on repetitive strain injury. Be sure to stay tuned for the next one because it has important information for you to know.